I don't think that it means anything, and here's why. There's a lot of people that get mad about sports or anything like that, but I don't think that soccer games cause people to be murderers either. I think that there's a lot of people that use video games actually as an outlet for their aggression, and because they're being aggressive in video games, maybe they're less aggressive in real life because they have an outlet for that type of feeling, you know? Soccer causes them to be aggressive, though? Well, here's the thing, though, right, is that there's a really big difference between being aggressive. There's a really big difference between being aggressive and going around and shooting people. Right? I mean, I think that's a massive difference. Yeah, let's be honest. Football games definitely lead to more deaths than pit bulls. Well, here's the thing, though, is that it's not necessarily the football games. It's the people at the football games, right? It's not the football games are a congregation for people to go and do that kind of thing. It's obviously not football games. There are plenty of football games that happen, and there's no shootings. I don't think that people that watch football games are going to be any more likely to be violent than people who don't. The point that I'm making here is completely, it's very, very simple. I think that, yes, to an extent, obviously video games make people violent or aggressive, but I don't think that violence or aggression manifests itself in violent or murderous tendencies. Because I think there's different levels of aggression, right? There's throwing your controller against the wall. There's yelling fuck. There is telling your mom and slapping the tendies out of her hand whenever you've just lost a game of League of Legends and you tell her to get out of your room and that Bill isn't your real dad. You know? Like, that there are all these different levels of, of aggression. And I think that it's stupid to just say that they're all the same thing. To me personally, I would say that people that are aggressive in the same way that, you know, like, in the same way that, like, they're talking about shooting people and stuff, I don't think that's necessarily, like, it's not caused by video games. I think that's completely different. Did Bill hurt you? No, he didn't. As soon as people commit, murdering, not because of games. Well, I mean, like, the thing is, like, obviously, like, here's the thing. Like, let's say video games make someone 0.01% more likely to commit violence. Do I think that means that you should outlaw video games? No, I don't really think so. I mean, I think that there's a certain point where people should be allowed to do certain things that put themselves at risk, right? It's just the way it goes. Yeah, 0.01% chance. Ban them. Well, no, I mean, obviously it's ridiculous to say that. I mean, there's plenty of other things that, like, here's an example. There's a million ways that the government could make laws to make you more safe, but they would be, like, overbearing, and it would make it hard for you to do things in a normal, like, a normal way. Like, an example is, like, putting a breathalyzer in every single car. So you had to take a breathalyzer test before you got into any car, no matter what. It doesn't matter if you've had a, what is this? Desiccation. Oh, wow, I never even had that before. Yeah, so, for example, I mean, this is something that they could do, but I think that a lot of people wouldn't want to have that because, you know, there's, like, in the U.S., there's, like, the presumption of innocence, for example. So, I don't really like that idea, and, I think there's plenty of other examples like that. Just in general, cars kill people, ban cars. The thing is, like, you should, outlaw dying. Please don't think video games make people less aggressive. Don't you think video games also make people less aggressive? It depends on the person. Like, I don't know. I mean, like, I'm sure here's the thing, right, is that people that have violent tendencies also, it seems like those kinds of people would probably go out of their way to seek out games that allow them to express that violent tendency. I would assume that a lot of people that want to go out and go on shooting rampages probably play games that allow them to go out and go on shooting rampages. I don't think that makes them any more or less likely to do it, but I think that it's just something that's going to happen, right? It just kind of makes sense. GTA? Well, I mean, I think that does kind of make sense, right? I always feel like kind of a psychopath whenever I play GTA, and the only thing that I do is I just run around and shoot people, you know? But, I mean, that's what a lot of people do in the game. And most of them, 99% of them, don't go on a shooting rampage. That's all there is to it. If you ban games, you're going to get a lot more rampages. That's the thing, is you never think about all the kids, right, that they would have gone on a shooting rampage, but they're playing video games instead. So they're bored. They're distracted. They're not going to go on a shooting rampage because they're busy playing a video game. And I'm sure there are some of them, right? I don't mean to make light of a shooting, but I'm sure that obviously for some people, video games do keep them out of violence. So, I mean, if anything, it's a neutral effect, you know? It may cause more people to be violent, but it also causes some people to be less violent. You know, I'd say it's a wash, if anything. Better ban store mounts then. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they should... They should ban store mounts. They make me really mad. Exactly. You run around not getting mounts? Well, no, I'm about to get a mount right here. Like, why do you think I'm at King's Rest? I'm at King's Rest, so I get a mount. Like, I'm not here just to do the run. I'm here to get my mount here. Well, look, dude, this is it. If I have video games, I'd shoot myself. Well, I think you should find some more meaning in your life besides video games. If video games are the one thing that's holding you back from shooting yourself, I think you should probably try to do something else too. But at least you're not shooting yourself. So keep playing the video games too while you're doing it. In Denmark, we made a study that shows violence. What's this here? Violence has nothing to do with video games. Yeah, I mean, there's obviously a million studies about that, but I've heard about that too. Now, I've never spent the time to look at the studies myself, so I can't really say whether, you know, this is like really true or not. But overall, I think that kind of tends to be true. Yeah, sure. What do you think is causing white males to commit these horrible crimes? Well, I don't know. I mean, I think that, like... I don't know why all the shooters are white males. I'm not sure. I think there's probably a lot more to it. I'd have to sit down and think about it. But I mean, there's plenty of other like ethnicities that shoot people too, right? I mean, it's not like white males have a monopoly on shooting people. But it does seem like on these mass murders, right, like this, almost every damn time it's a white guy. I don't know why that is. Is it some like nihilism thing? I have no fucking clue. And why is that manifesting itself more in a white person than a brown person? I have no idea. Most of the mass shootings are in Chicago. Well, I don't know. I think that like that's kind of a different kind of mass shooting, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't spend a lot of time thinking about this because the way that I look at it is that I have no control over this. My opinions on the subject on my Twitter account, my Twitch account, I have a pretty good feeling that they're probably not going to amount to much, right? I don't think Blizzard or not Blizzard or I always use Blizzard as the governing body. As I said, I play too much WoW that makes decisions for everything. I don't think the government's going to really care. Like Donald Trump's not going to watch my stream and say, hey, you know what? This idiot's got a point. You know, that's it. Yeah, it's 20K following. Yeah, I mean, sure, but that doesn't mean that I should go around and try to express my opinions that, you know, aren't really backed up by any sort of science or data or anything. I don't feel comfortable drawing conclusions to something like that because I don't really know enough about it to make the decisions, right? That's really all it is. Why people are so delusional? Well, I don't think, like, as I said, I don't think that it's really I don't think any race has a monopoly on anything negative, right? Every race does every bad thing. And it's like, but why is it white people going on to mass shootings? I don't know. I have no idea. And I think it's been happening for a long time. So I don't think it's really fair to say that, you know, okay, well, like heightened political tensions have caused this because people have done this for like 20 years, like 30 years. Like the Columbine shootings had nothing to do with Donald Trump, for example. So why did they do it? I think that's the more recurring variable. Maybe because there's more white people in the U.S. That's probably a factor. I mean, like, that is literally a 100 IQ observation that is unironically probably 200 IQ. That's probably true. Okay, let's go. We're gonna get this mount right here. Okay, boys. Let's get it done. Discuss the current prize pool of Dota. It's like, what is it? $30 million, right? That's a lot of fucking money. Let me say that right now. It's a lot of fucking money. I wish, honestly, like, you know, the thing is, like, even if I had started playing Dota at the beginning, I probably wouldn't be competing in the world, the world tournament or whatever the fuck. So I don't even really care. I don't feel bad that it's like, oh man, I missed out because I didn't start playing Dota back then. If I played Dota back then, I'd probably still suck at it. So it's not like it would really matter even. Maybe the contribution is back then misinterpret. Common sense went out the window. Well, I think people misinterpret everything. People misinterpret things deliberately to promote their agenda. That's always been the way that that things go. It's unfortunate, but that's just the reality. Okay, here we go. We're gonna get this mount right here. Here we go. We have never seen this mount drop. Until today, of course, whenever we get it. Alright. Alright, Mount God. The Mount God. Here we go, this is it. New Mad Season 1 hour ago? Yeah, I've heard about that. I've heard about that before. Thank you guys. Appreciate that. Okay. Here it is, boys. Here it is. The literal God. Trying to make space on my inventory. It's kind of a bullshit game, man. I'm not gonna lie, this is kind of a bullshit game. I'm really not happy about it.